It's the holidays and I'm allergic to people, so of course I'm feeling sick. Happy holidays. Hope you guys are enjoying your time with your family. The grind doesn't stop for me, so I'm still out here in the garage on Thanksgiving Day. In this episode, the plan is to get the trans out, get it cleaned up, or the trans was already out, so the plan is to get it cleaned up, and then we're gonna do the much needed, long awaited maintenance that needs to happen on this motor. So we're gonna drain the oil, drop the oil pan, and get to those gaskets, being the oil pan gasket and the rear main seal. This is a early 84 car, so it has the two-piece rear main. After I drop the pan, it's just a matter of getting the cap off and swapping that out. Back at it. We're about to go ahead and clean up this trans so I can list it for sale, along with the associating trans swap parts. So the trans obviously being the most important thing that needs to be cleaned because it's probably in the worst condition. Outside of that, there's also the starter and then the cross member that's kind of cooked, as well as the trans mount. To keep it absolutely 100, I meant to get a brush, but I did not. Okay. So all I have is a bristle pad. We'll see how long this thing lasts and how good it is at getting this job done. I don't think it'll be very good, to be honest, nor do I think it'll last, but it's what I have for now. Yeah, let's go ahead and get to work cleaning. First things first, vacuuming the trans off to get rid of all the spider eggs and such. Afterward, I had to take off that bracket that you see here because that was something I needed, so to transfer that over to the T5, went ahead and took it off. After that, it was just cleaning the trans. So I started spraying some brake cleaner on it, wiping it down, and then I quickly realized that no matter what I did, it wasn't really gonna look any different unless I painted it. So without wasting more time, I just vacuumed it a little bit more and called it quits. So that was practically a waste. I think it got somewhat better, but I don't know if it's necessarily worth the effort for the amount of improvement I got out of it. We'll go ahead and start on the listing. Next up after this is done, we need to get that flex plate out, and then we're gonna start on the seals on the motor. So I know for sure I need to do the rear main. After we got the trans off, I could clearly see the dribble of oil coming down from the rear main. So for sure gonna do that. Most likely the oil pan is cooked too because the car sat for so long, so I'm sure all the gaskets are just brittle. So while we're in there, we're definitely doing both of those. So yeah, that was something that we discovered earlier on in the series anyway, and we've honestly been putting it off for so long because I just didn't really want to get in there and do it, to be completely honest.
That's too damn bad!
I wanted to get the car running and driving first, but now that we know the engine's good and it's obviously driving for the most part, or it was before I pulled out the auto trans, we know that's viable. So good enough, definitely with the motor being good. It's good enough for sure to go ahead and do that, get that done. So then we don't have to worry about leaks once we get it back on the ground, because honestly, if you look beneath the car, it's terrible. So let's go ahead and get to work. I'll stop rambling and we'll finish this up, getting this thing cleaned up. I did a stupid. Trying to get this thing cleaned, turned it around. The dolly probably should, the trans probably should turn around on the dolly. I didn't fully think that through. We are done with that. Got it all squared away, set aside, waiting to be picked up and sold so that we can fund the rest of the parts that we need for our 5-speed trans conversion. So now I just need to clean up the absolute mess that I have made in my garage, getting that job done. That's how you know a job is intense, based on how messy the garage gets as you're doing it. And this might be the worst one yet. Moving on.
A few moments later.
Not gonna lie, I was just gonna burn through this, thinking it was something that people wouldn't want to see. Somebody's probably gonna be doing this at some point, so I might as well show it. And granted, I'm pretty much done at this point, but you guys can see what I did to break them loose and everything. So what I did first was I wedged the breaker bar in there first, which is really just a pull for my floor jack. And then I use a 18mm socket with the breaker bar with this guy, and then the other pole for my other floor jack to break them loose. And then from there, just use my electric driver to buzz them the rest of the way out. So that's literally the last bolt. So yeah, this thing is pretty much out. So I'm gonna get this breaker bar out and pull it out of the way. It's hard doing this with one hand. There we go. I don't know if that thing needs to be facing a certain direction. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so we're finally getting back started. Thanksgiving food put me in the itis, so it's been a few days. Honestly, I've not done anything. I've been completely procrastinating and not getting anything done. We gotta snap out of it now, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on this maintenance on the turd. So I have both of the parts over here kind of buried under stuff. So let me just unbury that real quick. Okay, so I'm pretty sure these are the gaskets I need. These two for the oil pan, and then these two for the rear main seal. Most people upgrade to a one piece for the oil pan as well as the one piece for the rear main, but I'm not doing what's necessary to upgrade to a one piece rear main. So whatever, I have RTV as well. So we'll just run with that. Per the usual, complications get in the way of things. So I got all the bolts out. A few of them were kind of a pain. I ended up having to use the extractor sockets to get a few of them out as they rounded out. They were rusted in a little bit. Whatever, not a huge deal. Problem is now I got all the bolts out, but I thought I'd be able to pull the trans out from the back, but it's getting caught up on something. So it seems like I'm gonna have to lift up the engine a little bit just to be able to get the the pan out. Not that deep, but let's get to it.
A few moments later.
Okay, one thing led to another. Randy got the tool, already got the engine somewhat lifted. Kind of ghetto. I'm just gonna try to hurry up and get it done because you're just using some ratchet strap cables or whatever, some ratchet straps that I had in the garage already. So I'm gonna hurry up and get up under this car, see if I can get that tank out. And hopefully this thing just holds. Sketchier than the usual around here, but we're just trying to get this thing done, and it shouldn't honestly take too long. And honestly, if those straps are rated to hold something down that weighs 3, 4, 5 times as much, I feel like 2 here should be fine as well. So let's hurry up and get this done, and yeah. Per the usual, it's a fight. So I got the tank for the most part off at this point, but from what I'm showing here, you can see that the pan is getting caught up on the crank on the front side. So it's just not clearing. I jacked the engine up quite a bit at this point, so I honestly don't know why it's getting caught on this. Nothing I've seen or read said that it would. So this is definitely catching me off guard. Weird, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep massaging this thing and trying to get it off or trying to get it clear of that crank. I think once it's clear of that, it should be smooth sailing. But per the usual, I'm gonna lock in and try to get this thing off. So I'll catch you guys back once I've made some progress here instead of death by time lapse. So be right back. All right, the internet low-key saved my ass here because I'm slow. I realized, or it clicked from reading, that the problem was I never actually rotated the engine to top dead center. So cylinder number 1, the counterweight for the balance, the counterweight for the crankshaft was literally blocking the pan on. So I got the engine rotated. That ended up being a whole ordeal because when I started rotating it, the pan was already halfway off. So then the crank ended up kind of getting caught on the front connecting point. I don't know what to call it, like literally the front lip of the oil pan. So I ended up having to pry that and then crank it from the bottom to get that thing to rotate the rest of the way. Hopefully I didn't scratch it or damage the crank, but then again, it's a counterweight, so I think it'll probably be okay. I tapped out, chat. I'm done for the night. I'll come back out and get back at it with a fresh mind and a fresh body tomorrow.
The next day.
The engine support bar wasn't enough, so it's time to break out the big guns. We're gonna go ahead and just lift the motor completely to get the pan out, and we're just gonna use that to get it all in. And honestly, shout out to Charlie, who's in the neighborhood, who was able to help me out and let me borrow his engine hoist. Hopefully it's enough to get the job done, because this oil pan has been an absolute nightmare and a pain in the ass. And it's mostly my fault because I'm not lifting the engine enough to really be able to get that pan out. It should be simple. I'm just making it more complicated than it needs to be. So we're gonna go ahead and lift this engine up and get it out. And we finally have some success. Finally, after all of the struggles. Honestly, I don't know why this job was so annoying, but for some reason, this one, dropping this pan, has been an absolute nightmare job to do. But we finally got the pan off. Ugh. Finally got the pan out. It was an absolute nightmare, but it's out. So now we're gonna actually start cleaning this thing and getting the motor and everything cleaned up to prepare to get all that stuff back in. Obviously we need to get the caps and everything off. I'm gonna end the video here though. It's been, honestly, this has been an absolute struggle. In the next episode, we'll most likely be finishing up because I'm just gonna replace the seals and then plug this stuff back up. Not very entertaining, so I get it. So in the next episode, all that stuff is gonna be complete. I think what we're gonna start on next is actually getting the manual trans in after I get all the parts in the mail for the manual trans. So that should be fun. Finally getting the car back together. We're finally making some progress. The last, 5 days have been an absolute struggle bus. If you guys enjoyed this video, do all the YouTuber stuff, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, bell notifications, run up the hype. I don't know what the hype is, but do that too. Yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.